Most developers create their first production bug before they write a single component. When people start a project, they usually begin with the UI, homepage, cards, buttons, forms. And honestly, that's usually where mistakes start. Because once users begin creating data, changing your database becomes painful, especially in AI products. For this AI interview simulator, I wanted to avoid that. Before building any UI, I designed the data layer. Not because it's the most exciting part, but because it determines how the data is going to flow, how routing is going to work, and how analytics will work later. Also, it will also determine how the migration will be done in future and how difficult it would be. A good schema quietly makes everything easier. A bad schema creates problems for months. The first table is very simple. It is topics. Each interview topic needs a name, a description, and a slug. The interesting part about the slug is that a lot of developers immediately use UUIDs everywhere. But for user facing routes, topics slash interview or topic slash React interview seems a much better option than topic slash some random UUID. See, humans and search engines understand slugs and it gives URL a meaning. A meaningful URL is intuitively better for search engines and for humans, both. The mistake is thinking that you must choose one. You don't. Internally, use UUID for identity and externally use slug for routing. That's usually the best possible combination. Users get readable URL and the database gets stable identifier. This is one of those small decisions that prevents future bugs. See, each interview is going to store a topic slug snapshot instead of always looking up the current topic. Why? Imagine changing React interview to React JS interview 6 months down the line. Historical attempts should still know which topic existed when they were created. That's why snapshots matter. Another thing I wanted that the app should not break completely if the database becomes unavailable for some reason. So I added a fallback catalog pattern. If topic data can't be loaded from the Superbase, the app can still render using predefined fallback data. It is not perfect, but it improves resilience. This is a habit that becomes valuable later. The database schema should live in migration files, not in memory, not in documentation, not in some random screenshot. Migration files become the source of truth. Anyone joining the project can understand exactly how the schema evolved. This helps because, see, in practical world, schemas are not set in stone. They are going to change as the time changes because requirements change, new features are added, old features are dropped, some features are combined into a single feature. So the data also has to change. Some new columns are added, some old columns are deprecated, or they are just there for namesake. So you have to plan for that also. Let's say a user starts a React interview. The route uses React interview, the database resolves the slug, an attempt is created. A snapshot of topic information is stored. Later, analytics can reference it, reports can reference it, history remains accurate even if the original topic has changed. That one design decision prevents a surprising number of future issues. Now, see, designing upfront takes time. I'm not saying that it is the most fanciest of the things or most exciting of the things. This is honestly the most boring part of the work. Like whenever you are making an app and you are deciding how data flows, that's the most boring part for most of the developers. You could initially absolutely move faster, but eventually bad schema becomes a technical debt and good schemas become a leverage. Because if you are not sure what schema or how the data is going to flow, the problem is that when you are making UI, you are not sure what pages are going to exist, how those pages are going to exist, what type of UI is going to be the best for the particular page. So don't trade short term speed for long term simplicity. Because the problem is that Long-term simplicity looks like, okay, I'm going to take a lot of time, the app won't be completed quickly, or I won't be able to see demos. That's true. But overall, you will take far less time than rushing into everything. The database isn't actually the most visible part of the application, but it determines how maintainable your application becomes. For this project, I wanted the foundation to be solid for building anything on top of it. The next step is taking the schema and modeling the full interview attempt lifecycle in Postgres. That's where things start getting interesting.